Joining me now is the newly sworn in Superintendent for Fairfax County Public Schools, Dr. Garza. Welcome.
Thank you, Barbara. Happy to be here.
Oh, we are delighted that you are on board, and you spent the month of June in transition, so you had a chance to get out and about, meet some people, observe some meetings. What have you seen so far in FCPS?
Well, I'm really pleased I had that opportunity to spend that time getting to know people. Of course, I've just begun. I still have a lot to learn about the system, but it was very nice. It was a real opportunity to get to know a lot of the people that are involved with the mission of the core work of the organization, get to know board members better. I've met many principals. I've even actually met quite a number of teachers and students. I've been very impressed with everyone throughout the system.
That's great. Well, what have you been impressed with the most so far? I know you have a lot more to see, and it's probably not a fair question, but what have you been impressed with the most?
Well, no doubt this community has a lot to be proud of. What great schools we have in Fairfax County Public Schools. And so that tradition of excellence is something I think that we can all be proud of. And I think it comes from a variety of things. We have very talented students, there's no doubt about that. The support of our community, our parents, goes a long way. Because we can't do this work alone. And then certainly we have wonderful people all throughout the system, at schools, in our classrooms, and then and supporting our schools at the central office level, at the gatehouse, and those kinds of functions. People that care a lot about children, care about this work, have a lot of passion, and demonstrate a lot of dedication for the work. So it's a great place to be.
It is, it is. Now, I was able to observe you a little bit in a classroom when you were visiting students, and you really take a lot of energy from students, and that is because of your teaching background?
I still consider myself a teacher. I think we all are students of this work. I love education. I love the work that we do. And it's all about serving children. And so, yes, I do. I love being in classrooms. I think our teachers have a very difficult job. But I know that they get a lot of satisfaction out of knowing that they're making a difference for children. And so it's very satisfying to be in classrooms and see our teachers at work and serving children. And it's best part of my day, I think, is the opportunity to get to spend time in schools.
Yeah, I would agree. Now, you have a lot to learn, but what are some of the areas that you are going to focus on first?
Well, I really feel like I need to get to know the schools better, and so I intend to visit schools as often as I can to provide an opportunity for our principals to share their thoughts, dreams, aspirations for our school system, kind of our strengths and what are our opportunities and our challenges ahead. I think the more we can listen to the field, I think the better we're going to be as a system because they are our front lines. And so I'd like to learn a lot more about our school system, starting and spending as much time as I can in schools. But there's a lot of programs I'm still learning about, and certainly building relationships with key community members and parents, and I'm looking forward to all of that.
Good. Now, you spent some time in Houston, which is another very large school district, larger than ours, as a matter of fact. Are there any similarities that you can see between Fairfax and Houston, or differences?
I think there's some similarities, obviously, with size. With size, there's some complexities that I think we're all a little bit challenged with, but and that is to make sure that we're all part of a large, we're part of this system. We're part of Fairfax County Public Schools. And that we not function in silos. And I think that's a challenge that all large systems have, is making sure that we're communicating with one another, that we're coordinating the work so that we're cognizant of how it's affecting the field when we make changes. And that happens in large systems if we're not really communicating really well. And so I think the challenges are very similar in that way. In Houston, we had a lot of growth in certain areas, and certainly we're experiencing that same thing here. And I think also with Houston, like I'm finding out here, all of our schools are different. Every school has its own DNA. And I think we can all strive to make sure that our schools have what they need, but at the same time not expect them to be all the same. And I'm seeing that we have that here. We have great schools, but they're not all cookie cutter schools. They all have special niches, they have special programs, they have things that are different and unique, and I think that's great.
Well, thanks. Stick around because we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I'll continue my conversation with FCPS Superintendent Garza.